Hello everybody, this is Elmtree with Liquid Gaming in the AOC. Today we'll be going over an in-depth tutorial on Task Force radios. In short, the mod I'm talking about in this tutorial is known as TFAR. We use Task Force Arrowhead radio, which is the beta version of TFAR. In this, it adds a couple extra features that we are going to go over. What is Task Force Arrowhead Radio? It adds a proximity chat through TeamSpeak into the game, as well as radios to cover long distances and radios in vehicles. In watching this video, I am assuming that you have your task force working and set up, and all plugins are working inside of TeamSpeak. This is an in-depth tutorial on how to use the advanced uses in short-range, long-range vehicle radios. I will not get into depth in green 4, red 4 radios, or the difference in airborne or squad lead radios. I'm only going to talk about short-range and long-range radios, nominally the ANPRC 152 and the ANPRC 155. These are both typical radios that are issued in the operations conducted by Liquid Gaming and the AOC. All information is as of the LIQ ModPack 8.1. First, for you to make sure that your functions will work in-game, you will need to change your keybinds. To do this, press Escape, Configure Controls. First, go to Multiplayer, shown here. Then, Push-to-Talk and Voice over Net. Unbind both of these, as in delete the keybinds. Be aware that if you join a server that requires you to talk using the in-game voice over net, you will need to rebind these keys. But while you are doing operations inside of the AOC and Liquid Gaming, these keybinds should be deleted. Next, configure add-ons. You'll need to go to add-on TFAR, shown here. Scroll down to where short range transmit additional and short and long range transmit additional are, and secure these keybinds to something that will work. In this case, I'm going to change my short range transmit additional to Control and T, deleting this keybind, hitting OK. When you change a keybind, make sure you hit OK. And I'm going to change my LR transmit additional to this keybind. I'm deleting the old one, hitting OK. There is a known problem where if you use Y, either Control Y or Y directly, it will interfere with Zeus pinging or Zeus interface. Okay. We'll hit OK. Continue. First, before we get into any equipment, we'll talk about voice modification. Voice modification is the adjusting of how loud your proximity chat is. In other words, adjusting the bubble that you are able to be heard in. To do this, you will press left control and tab. You'll see a guy in the bottom right now. The hand outstretched means that you are yelling. This is the loudest voice setting in voice modification, and also the voice setting that you should be always using as of ModPack 8.1. Next is whispering, which is the quietest setting in Modpack 8.1. And then the fifth is talking, which is a medium or normal sized setting. We'll leave it on yelling for right now, and you should always have it on yelling as of Modpack 8.1. Second, talk about equipment. I already mentioned the equipment that we will be using, the ANPRC 152 and the ANPRC 155. 152 is a short range to medium range personal radio. It should be used to communicate between squad mates and for fire team leaders to communicate with squad leaders. Squad leaders, JTACs, vehicles, and aerial units should use the backpack radios. Backpack radios or vehicle radios both will have a similar or the same interface and will function identically. In this case, I will be demonstrating with the ANPRC 155 radio. To bring up your short-range radio, in this case the 152, you will press Control and P. It does not matter which control you use, left or right control will both work. You can move the interface of the radio wherever you please with left control or left clicking and dragging the radio. On the interface, you'll see C1 and then numbers. Initially, C1 means channel 1, and the numbers afterwards mean the frequency that channel 1 is set to. The 152 has 8 channels. You can switch between them using this PRE plus and minus buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Back to 1. Each preset can be set to a specific frequency. I'm going to set 1 through 8 to frequencies 101 to 108 in that order. This is channel 2. Channel 2 is set to this frequency. To change the frequency of this channel or any channel, you can do it in 2 ways. The first way is to highlight by left clicking and dragging over the frequency and then typing in the frequency that you desire. In this case will be 102. To set this as the frequency, you'll need to press ENT. Next, I'll switch to channel 3. C3 is known as channel 3. I want this channel to be 103. To do that, I'm going to do this in the second way, which is to press this clear button, clear frequency. I'll click that, and then I can type in 103 and press ENT to enter. Now I'm going to do this rest of the channels. Now you can see that channel 1 is signified here, and channel 1 on the frequency that I set is signified here. You should also know that you do not need to press the plus or minus PRE button as in preset. You can also press your numpad as in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You should also know that you do not need to have the interface up to do this. I can press escape, bring the interface down, and I can do 7, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, back to 1. I can press Control P to bring it back up again, and here it is. The other settings of this radio, the right arrow key is just the speakers. It adjusts speakers or headphones. Typically, on a personal radio, you'll like it to have on headphones. This will stop other people from hearing chatter on your radio. Typically, the only person that wants to hear chatter on your radio is you. The only exception to this rule is maybe when you are in a vehicle such as a Humvee where people want to hear chatter off the long range of the Humvee. Otherwise, always keep this setting to headphones. Next, we'll go to 0, stereo settings. Left, right, left and right. What this is referring to is your headphones. Click it once is left only. Twice, right only, referring to your headphone cup. Left and right means both at the same time. Up here at the top, decrease, increase volume. Does what it says. The louder it is, the louder the radio will be. The quieter it is, the quieter the radio will be. Finally, to set an additional channel on your radio, useful for team leader roles, we will go to PRE2, channel 2. Then we'll press the left arrow key button, which will switch C2 to A2. A2, 102. This means that the additional channel is 2 and the frequency is 102. Once this is set, go back down to channel 1. You'll see at the bottom right, you'll see frequency 101, additional channel 2. Our additional channel 2 was set on frequency 102. Press escape. Now, to transmit on your short range radio, you have to press caps lock. Now that you see on the bottom right, caps lock is our radio, ANPRC 152, channel 1, frequency 101. Typically, when you transmit on any radio, leave a second or two gap from when you press the transmission button, and then after you are finished transmitting, let go. Now, to transmit on our additional channel, you will press left control and T. For me, this is how I have it set up. You saw me set up my keybinds earlier in the video. This is how I have my additional channel set up. However yours is set up, use those keybinds. For me, I am pressing left control and T. It may be different for you. But you can see on the bottom right, it says that we are transmitting on the additional channel 2, frequency 102. I did not have to change channels. I am now transmitting on the additional channel without changing to it. As well as, with an additional channel, you can hear traffic coming from your primary channel, in this case channel 1, and your additional channel at the same time, known as channel 2. Okay? I will show you again that you can also change the channels as presets. In the bottom right, you can see it's changing. I'm using my numpad. I'm going to switch back to channel 1. That is everything that you need to know with the ANC PRC, or the AN PRC 152 radio. You will only need to set additional channels if you are a team leader that has to communicate with both your fire team and your squad leader. Next, we will talk about long-range radios. To access your long-range radio, in this case AAN PRC 155, is Alt and P. If I press escape, we'll put the radio down and away. I can press Alt and P again to bring it up. Again, you can use either Alt. The same as you can use either caps lock, you can use either Alt. Plus P to bring the interface up. Again, you can drag this interface with left mouse button and drag. With this interface is all the same function as the short range, but it is set up slightly differently. In this case, your volume is on the left knob here. To change your channel is up and down. If you wish to clear frequency is escape. In this case, I will use 5.1 as my channel 1, and then on my channel 2 I will put 5.2. I'll hit set frequency. On your long range radio, you will have 9 channels. The reason that channel 1 did not stay for me is because I did not press set frequency. Like I say, this radio has the same features as the short range radio. Here is your speakers, headphones or speaker. This is your stereo settings, left and right settings. Personally, if I am running a short range and a long range radio, or if I'm running a short range with 2 different channels, I would like to hear each frequency through a different headphone to keep the context of the conversations separate. If I hear you out my left headphone, I know you're on my short range radio or direct squad comms. If I hear you out my right headphone, I know that you are long range, or otherwise a fire team leader, a different squad leader, an air asset, or command. Next is additional channels in your long range. This is done exactly the same as the short range radios. You'll go up to next channel, channel 2, set additional channel button, which in this case is the lock on the left. You'll see it says CA2. Set frequency, previous channel, channel 1. You can see that we're set up here down here. I'm going to press escape. Now, to transmit on a long range radio will be left control and caps lock. Again, either control will work. I suggest left control. It's easier to press. The same rules apply to long range radios as they do to short range radios. Give some time from the time you press the button to speak, and then speak some time, release the button. Also, to switch between presets that you have made on a long range radio, hold control and then use your numpad again to switch your channels. I'm going to switch back to channel 1. You should have seen all the channels switching in the bottom right hand side of the screen. I'm holding left control and using the numpad to switch those channels on the long-range radio. For me to transmit on a long-range radio from the additional channel, you saw me set it up. It's left. I'm using control. U is how I have mine set up. You may have yours set up differently. Check your keybinds like in the beginning of this video. The same rules apply from short range to long range, like I've been saying. If you have an additional channel set up on your long range, you will be hearing both your primary channel and your additional channel at the same time. You'll be able to transmit on your short range, on your primary channel of your long range and your additional channel of your long range with those separate keybinds. In total, you can listen to and transmit on 4 separate frequencies using a short range and long range radio. That would conclude basic radios, or in-depth basic radios as used by the AOC in Liquid Gaming in Arma Modpack 8.1. Next, we'll talk about vehicle radios. I have 2 separate vehicles here. One, an LAV, the other a Humvee. Both are equipped with their own radio systems. You should be aware that when you are using a vehicle radio, the pilot, co-pilot, driver, gunner all have different radios. So, for an example, if the driver sets his long-range radio to 50 and the gunner sets his long-range radio to 53, they will both be hearing different chatter. Okay, let's demonstrate this to you. I'll do it through this Humvee here. So, we'll get into the driver's seat here for this Humvee. To access the long-range radio inside the Humvee, it's going to be the same as if it was on your back. Left Alt and P. You can see that we have this interface pop up. It's slightly different than the other interface we saw, but it's all the same function. If you see this, hover over the top of it and you can see that it's all the same functions. We're going to set this one to 50. Set frequency here. Okay? So the driver radio is set at 50. Now we'll go up to the gunner seat, because I said that every pilot, co-pilot, driver, and gunner, and commander, actually, commanders will also have a different radio. But as this gun, we'll use Alt and P, and you can see that his channel 1 is set to a different frequency. This is good to know, so that if you are driving and gunning a vehicle, but also listening to the radio inside of said vehicle, that as you're switching, the radios you're using are different. So you'll have to set both of them individually. Next. When you're in a vehicle, such as this APC here, a helicopter, a plane, there is something in TFAR beta known as Intercom. Intercom allows you to talk to other individuals inside the vehicle without using a short-range radio frequency. I'll show you. We'll get into the driver's seat of this vehicle. Now if I use other interaction, I'm assuming that you already know how to use other and self interaction in this video. If I use my other interaction, I will see that in the Lav 25 I have an intercom channel. I can disable the intercom where I can't hear any communication at all through anyone in the vehicle. The crew is obviously for the driver, gunner, commander of the vehicle. Other channels can be used for other teams that can be displayed at the time that they get in, or communicated at the time that they get in. Be aware that if you are a crew member of a APC or armored vehicle like this, you will not be able to talk to infantry outside of the vehicle while you are turned in. To talk to infantry on the outside of the vehicle, you will have to turn out. While you are turned out, you can hear and communicate with infantry outside of your vehicle. This will conclude my basic, in-depth task force tutorial. I suggest that any team leader or squad leader understand and use the additional channels function to the best of their ability. Otherwise, stay safe, come join in our ops, have fun, and fuck squad. Have a good night.